Sportscast, June 23rd, 2020. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're in iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And visit us on thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net for the latest in sports news. This episode is brought to you by InstaBible app. Download InstaBible app on your iPhone. We got Justin Riley all the way from Mississippi as my co-host. Welcome to the Sportscast.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Excited for another Tuesday edition of our program.
Another one of the Alabama series, which is, I think, like we don't have an end date for this. It feels like it's kind of indefinite for now.
Alabama never ends, man. We're infinite.
Exactly.
Anyways, we got a special show today and a special guest. Justin, can you do the honors to present our special guest for tonight?
I got to, man. Before I do that, going to give a big shout out to the folks at Rama Jammas. Listen, your game day experience is not complete till you've been by there to have one of their famous burgers. Matter of fact, I dare you to try the National Championship Burger. Matter of fact, I will challenge anyone to try to beat me at eating that. So that's a challenge. If anybody's willing to accept it, come on. All right. I am really excited today. Of course, I'm excited every week because I'm doing something I love, but I bring into you a former Associated Press All-American, the 2001 through 2002 SEC Player of the Year, three-time All-SEC, led the SEC in rebounding in 3 consecutive seasons, the first to do that since the Great Shaq. He was the SEC regular season champion. He was a 2007 FIBA All-Star, the 2007 FIBA All-Star Game MVP, and won several titles in the Turkish League, none other than the great, legendary Erwin Dudley.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Hey, and I definitely try to challenge you on that national championship burger too.
Hey, I'm ready. Just let me know, and we'll be there.
Before we start the show, what does that burger contain? Really quick, Justin.
Just mounds and mounds of meat and bacon and goodness. All the things we'll see in heaven.
As long as it has bacon. Anyways, Erwin, thanks for coming on to the Sportscast. Can you tell us what you've been up to lately?
I haven't been up doing anything really. My kids have been out of school. Just helping them with schoolwork. I become a teacher actually because I'm teaching them math and different subjects. And like I said, I never saw myself in that light, but I actually had to teach them because of the pandemic and everything. But it's been good. We've been able to bond a lot more and being able to do a lot of things together. We've been fishing a lot, so that's another thing that we've been doing. So we've been having some fun.
We're getting into this journey of yours. Tell us, how'd you get started with basketball?
Now I have older brothers. I had older brothers and older cousins that played basketball. I mean, where I'm from in Uniontown, Alabama, basketball is everything. So, I mean, you grew up playing basketball, and so I followed their footsteps, and just kind of went from there. Seeing my older brothers doing it, and I decided to try it too, and I liked it, and then just kind of took off for me.
Good deal. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your recruiting? What all schools were looking at you, and was Alabama always the obvious choice for you?
Well, I had an older sister that was here. That went to school. They graduated from here before I did from Alabama. So, I mean, I always knew that that was an opportunity because I had been here and I've seen the campus and things of that nature. But going to visit other places, I went to of course, the other school down the road in the state of Alabama. I went there. I was able to go to. I visited Georgia Tech. Clemson was high on me as well. And pretty much all the SEC schools was recruiting me pretty heavy.
How was your high school career like? I mean, were you one of like the top players in your state? How was your experience with high school basketball?
High school basketball for me was great. The era that I came in, we didn't have a lot of AAU. We did have AAU, but it wasn't a lot of AAU around where I'm from, down in the Uniontown area. So you would have to come. I played AAU for the team up in Huntsville called the Alabama Lasers, and so with Marvin Stone, he was like one of the number one player in the nation at that time. And so I was able to play on that team with him and Rod Grizzard that played with me in Alabama, Terrence Mead, and those guys. We all played on the same team. So that's my AU experience was good, but it's nothing. It was nothing like it is now. These guys they have social media and they have all these other different outlets where they can kind of pull up their talents and show what they can do. When I came through, we didn't have all that. It was basically like we play AAU, and then the summertime for me was just my high school coach opening up the gym, and we played against older guys, and that's how we played basketball.
And like with like the whole recruiting process, was it really rigoring? Like you were between two schools, or was Alabama a clear choice at the time?
They were a clear choice. I mean, UAB was recruiting me heavily, but I told them early in the process that I wouldn't come in. I didn't want to string them along, and Auburn they recruited me really heavy, but I knew in my heart that I wanted to be with Alabama. I knew, and at that time too, Auburn was really good at that point in time. They had Chris Porter and Mamadou, and they had a bunch of other guys there, so they were playing really good basketball. I can remember. Um, my senior year, I went to Auburn, for a visit, and it was Alabama and Auburn playing, and so I think the score might have been like Alabama might have lost. They lost the game by 40 or 50 points. It was like 90-40 or 90-50. I mean, it
I
was it
remember
was
that.
bad. It was bad. And so that right there, that kind of like, I mean, they was already established, and it was just like, okay, I had teammates that already had signed here, at Alabama, and it was like, it was basically like something like, okay, we come here together, we can accomplish and do something that's special.
Good deal. I'd like to transition now to when you actually got to Alabama and you entered the Alabama basketball program during a very interesting time. The basketball program and football program both were rebuilding. Alabama hadn't been to an NCAA tournament since the 1995-96 season when we had Antonio McDyess.
Hmm.
Mark Godfrey was in his second year as a head coach. What was the atmosphere like during that time?
I mean, it was exciting. We were my recruiting class. We came in. We were a top recruiting class, and so we came in. We really not knowing what to expect. Coach Godfrey he started four freshmen. He just basically rolled the ball out there and told us to go out there and play. And we had a lot of bumps and bruises and stuff. But at the end of the day, it was a learning experience as well. So that freshman year wasn't really a good year for us. I mean, but we like I said, we gained experience, and that was the most important thing. And going to my sophomore year, I mean, we had a really good year. Whatever, thought we should have made the tournament, and we didn't make
Mm-hmm.
the tournament because we got snubbed from the tournament or whatever. We were thinking like 25 or 24-11 or something like that. So we had a good record, but they said our strength of schedule wasn't strong enough.
Which season was your best season, and which game do you think is the most memorable game you ever had with Alabama?
Well, I got a couple different ones. The most memorable one I think is the most memorable year was my junior year. We won that C title. I was a player of the year. We had Mo Williams. He was a freshman of the year. So we had a bunch of accolades, as a team as well. Um, one of my fondest moments, I think. Well, I know the first one is I think it's my freshman year. I think it's my freshman or sophomore year. I think it's my freshman year. We were playing Mississippi State here in Tuscaloosa, and I think we were down 3 points. And, we took a 3-pointer, missed it. I got the rebound. Never took a 3-pointer in my entire. That was the only 3-pointer I taken my whole entire career. And I got the ball, dribbled it out, took the 3-pointer shot, and made it. We go in overtime against Mississippi State in Tuscaloosa, and then we go into overtime. We win the game. That's one of them. And then the second one is of course that we played against when we beat Florida in the championship game here in Tuscaloosa. We beat them to win the SEC regular season title.
Yeah, I remember that Florida game pretty well, man. We won at the buzzer. We all stormed the court. Man, that was an
Hmm.
amazing time.
It
You know,
really was.
you played with an incredible roster. Like you already mentioned, Mo Williams, Rod Grizzard, Kenny Walker, Antoine Petway, Terrence Mead. And after a short period of time, you led our program back to relevance. When I
Hmm.
was watching you, it was like seeing a cross between Shaq and Karl Malone. I felt like you were the most dominant player on the court. And when we needed something, you were there. how did your style of play and leadership propel that team to new heights?
Well, I don't think it was just me in particular. I think, my whole team. I think we all contributed, to it. They were able to get me the ball. Me being relentless relentless on the glass. And Coach Godfrey, they made a conscious effort to get me the ball, and so that was another thing. And my teammates, they were able to get me the ball. And like I said, I like, rebound was one of my strong suits as well. So even if we did, even if we did shoot the ball and stuff, we had a good chance of getting offensive rebounds and stuff. So that was another thing that I took pride in, just rebounding. And so with that right there, I took pride in myself. It's just being a person that can go out and just leading by example, just showing, just going out and playing hard and playing and doing what I can do to help the team win.
How was the atmosphere like with the Alabama basketball program? I know the football team wasn't at the height of its level, but how was the basketball program when you got there and how you left it?
Well, when I first arrived there on campus, when I first arrived on campus, like I said, football still was, they still was, people was talking. We still had Sean Alexander and all those guys. They still were there, and we had just won the SEC title game that year before. So us coming in, football still was, had that buzz. But slowly, I think slowly but surely, with us coming in, winning games and good recruiting classes coming in. Gerald Wallace came in that the next year after us. He was number one player in the nation and stuff. So they kind of helped us. They kind of put us on the map. And then we started to get noticed. I mean, we were winning games. Like I said, my sophomore year, it was like 24-11. Then our junior year, like I said, we won the SEC title. And that was huge for us. That was a big stepping stone for us, whatever, as a program. We was able to get back into the tournament. And so, like you said earlier, we hadn't been done since 95, 96, I think. So that was like a big step. That's every team's goal is to reach the NCAA tournament. That's one of their main goals.
Now, you decided to forego the NBA draft in return for your senior season, and that actually set us up to make a run that, quite frankly, the school had seen before. We were actually thinking Final Four, possibly even more. However, we finished 17-12 that year. And this is something that's been on my mind for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think led to that disappointing season?
Because we started off well. I know from a personal experience. I know we didn't have any animosity as a team. So that was but I know myself personally. I was battling a knee injury that a lot of people don't know about, and I don't talk about it because I don't like to look at it as an excuse or whatever like that. I just feel like that, it was something that, I sucked it up. It was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to keep fighting because I felt like my team needed. But I know for a certain that if I had been healthy that year or whatever like that, our record wouldn't have been there. And we ended up finishing 17-12, and we still we made the tournament and stuff. But and we was number one team in the nation as well. So that was something that
Yeah.
hadn't been done in Alabama history. So those are some good things. And then, like I said, we had some bad things. Like I said, that knee injury was one of the things I know for myself personally. That kind of took me back. And then also going to our senior, we lost, we lost Rod too that year. He left for the
Yeah.
draft, and he was one of our top scorers or whatever. So, so that was another thing. We and don't get me wrong, we did have some players that could come in and play and fill roles and do what they need to do. We just, Rod was he's just a special talent.
How would you compare to the Alabama basketball program today compared to right now? What is needed today that could bring back like those glory days?
Winning. um, you know what? I mean, right now, I think that, right now, the program right now, I'm the Coach OC's, he's doing a fantastic job. I think, first year, we saw some spurts of, we saw some good things. The recruiting class they got coming in now is a really good recruiting class. So now it's all about those are just recruiting class coming in and filling their roles and doing what they're supposed to do. And then the upperclassmen that we have now, that are there now, they have to step up and do their part. So I think that your upperclassmen always have to do their part, but then also the guys that coming in behind them, they have to come in and contribute as well. And I think that'll make you a really well balanced team. Everybody got to come in ready. We lost Kyra. Kyra, he stayed in for the draft, and so we're gonna lose him. But we have guys that I think can fill that role. Kyra's a really good player, experienced player. Did a lot of good things for us, or whatever. So we'll see.
I like to kind of piggyback on that as well. Since your departure, we've only made the NCAA tournament twice. We've had 3 coaching changes, and we've had only one first-round draft pick, and that was Colin Sexton. I thought that Anthony Grant and definitely Avery Johnson could right the ship. However, it didn't happen. Why do you think Alabama is having a hard time finding success with this basketball program?
You know what? I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I think the guys. I think we're getting some really good guys. I think the guys that we're bringing in are talented. I don't know what it is. Whether it's like I said, I don't know for certain. It could be a number of
They
different
need
things.
you.
It could be internal. Hey, I wish I had some eligibility left. I wish I did. It could be, it could be a number of things. It could be a few internal things that we don't know about. It could be a number of different things. I don't have.
Yeah.
I know, but I know for a fact, and you guys can see as well. The guys that they've brought in or they're bringing in, they're top. They're top star, 5-star guys, 4-star guys. They're guys that that are noted. I don't know if whether when they get here. I don't know what goes on in the locker room, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, something that we've seen with a lot of schools. They have their glory days, not so glory days, but eventually they'll look back in. Obviously, right now Alabama is living in that football moment, so it might be that. I don't know. It might be have that type of culture.
Mm-hmm.
You led the SEC in rebounding for 3 consecutive seasons, becoming the first to do so since Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Were you trying to capture that record, or you just real? I mean, like, or you would say a person told you, "Hey, you tied or surpassed Shaq." Like, what was that feeling?
I wasn't. I mean, my main thing was and I go back to high school where I remember in PE class I was like I went to one of the coaches. I was like, man, they're not passing me the ball. And the coach told me, he was like, go and get the rebound then. And then that just kind of stuck with me to the rebound, because that's definitely another way of scoring, and that's definitely another way to keep yourself involved in the game. And so that was one of the things that I found myself being good at. Was one of the things was just rebounding, going to get the ball, tracking the ball down, and rebounding is mostly it's all effort. It's not really a skill. I mean, some guys are just really skilled at rebound, but a lot of rebounding is effort. If you put forth the effort to doing something, getting the rebound, you can do it, because you're gonna have guys that's more athletic than you are, or whatever. Some guys are more taller than you, in my case, I'm 6'8", and I had guys playing against guys that were 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. But I think my heart was, saying I overcame all of that because I just wanted it more.
Have you ever got a call from Shaq to say congrats, or were you able to speak to him?
No, I never got anything like that.
When you got there, who were the main folks, I guess, in the program already that served as mentors to you, or that just really spent a lot of time investing in you and getting you ready for your career there?
Well, I mean, when I got here, we had Alfred Moss and Solomon Davis. He was here. Excuse me, Tariq London. He was here. So those were some of the upperclassmen we had. Jeremy Hayes. He was here as well. Jeremy had a knee injury, so he was kind of back and forth with getting healthy and stuff. So those were the guys that we came in under, whatever. And we was Coach Godfrey's first recruiting class, and he basically like, look, this is my first class, all freshmen, and I'm just gonna put them out there, and it happens, to every program when coaches take over, and they get their guys in, they want to play their guys, and so that's kind of how I went with coach and whatever, like, and I don't think he made a bad decision with it.
Let's transition into heading into pro. Actually, a little bit before that, how were the NBA scouts looking at you throughout your college career, what were you getting whispered about? Were people saying you'd be a first rounder? What was the whole pre-draft experience like?
I mean, my whole pre-draft experience was, that I got from the scouts. A late first rounder, early second round pick or whatever. That was my junior year, and so I decided to come back. I just felt like, okay, look, you may need to work on some other things or whatever. And I came back, like I stated earlier. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't one of the best years. In terms of our winning record. We accomplished some things as a team. We was number one in the nation, but we just didn't get everything done as the team like we were wanted to. And we didn't replicate the success we had from the previous season. And me coming out, like I said, I wasn't healthy over half of the entire season. So that was one thing. And going in, I graduated. After when the season ended, I would say, they have this thing out in Portsmouth, Virginia, where you go out, they have all the seniors out, and you come out and, and participate and play. Just basically trying to get your draft stock up. And and like I said, I had been dealing with a knee injury for the whole year, and my whole mindset was, look, I'm trying to, I got to push it. I can push it through this right here, and once I get through this, then I can give myself some rest. And that wasn't the plan that God had for me, because I went out there and I got hurt. Like, I got injured the first 5 minutes of the game, and I was down on the court, I broke my kneecap. It was nothing. It was nothing I did, out of the ordinary. It was just a normal, just go out, close out, and I stepped and I landed on one of my teammates' foot, and that was it. And I was down.
How was the medical treatment for that? Was that something that you did everything possible, or you think you could have done something more back then?
Well, I mean, at that point in time, I think we did everything that we knew of to do, and especially from my knowledge, we did everything we knew to do. We knew what to do. It was just one of those things. Like, even like had done X-rays and MRIs and all that stuff, here in school, and nothing turned up. And then, once I got hurt, I knew it was something, but once I got hurt, we went back and did another X-ray, and then it was a line on my bone, and it was just one of those, like I said, it was like just something that never had been heard of for real, because I talked to the doctors and stuff, and they was like, they only had known 4 cases, and I was 4 cases, and I was the number 4. It was 3 cases before me, and I was number 4. And it was McDice, a NASCAR driver, and an NFL kicker, and I was the 4th case. So it wasn't a lot of cases out. People were fracturing their kneecap or breaking their kneecap. So it was just one of those things where we just have to kind of, learn as we went.
And all the information you gave me is something like none of us knew about. We had no clue that was what was going on. After all your accomplishments at Alabama, all of us thought that you were going to be in the NBA for a long time. We envision you becoming an NBA All-Star and then winning titles. What do you feel like didn't work right for you once you actually got to the draft? The draft, of course, you went undrafted. And do you think if you left after your junior season that things would have played out differently for you?
I've thought about that a lot, and excuse me, and at the end of the day, I think that everybody has a pre-plan for them for their life. I think God's planned everybody's life for them, and I feel like, for me, if it's meant for me to be in the NBA, then I feel like I would have actually made it to the NBA. It just didn't happen for me that way. But again, like Europe for me was, I don't take anything from it. I mean, it was great to me. The experience, being able to go over and see, and being able to see different countries, it was second to none. Now, do I wish I had played in the NBA? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's everybody's. Especially every American's dream is to play in the NBA, but it just didn't happen for me that way. I did ended up. I went to summer league for the Clippers, um, and I did pretty well or whatever. And I went into they invited me to vet camp, and I decided to, I decided to turn it down. Well, because I was like, look, offer me something, because at that point in time, it was only I was only my first year out of school, and like I said, the year before that, I hadn't done anything, I hadn't worked or anything. on a serious job. So I was just trying to get something that'll hold me by. I mean, hold me on. And so they was like, we just want you to come in for vet camp and do this. And I was like, you know what? And I had a guarantee overseas, and so I ended up taking that and just not looking back and just kept going.
You were in the 2003 NBA draft. That's a pretty talented draft.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it
people know
was.
it as LeBron James, Dwayne Wade,
Hmm.
Carmelo Anthony, and Chris
Hmm.
Bosh. From your experience, how dense was that talent pool?
Oh man, it was. I mean, even like even before I even, you know, even my junior year, I knew going back when my junior year, I knew if I stayed in my junior year, coming out my senior year, I knew it was going to be deep or whatever. And and those guys, and you see the accomplishment those guys have made, over the years. So I mean, that class right there was really really deep. And even not with those four guys you mentioned, we had guys, after them that came, just still that came into the NBA and they contributed a lot.
Now you were able to find success pretty quickly overseas. First in Israel, you pretty much killed it, and then you went over to Turkey, and
Hmm.
then your career just took off. And I felt like that was what you were meant to be doing.
Hmm.
But in the beginning, can you kind of take us through the adjustments you had to make from playing in the States, and then playing overseas, and also playing in different countries?
I think, and for me, and I tell people, I mean, I think basketball is pretty much the same everywhere. I mean, you have different coaches and different organizations. They look at basketball and try to turn basketball and make basketball something totally different. But I think basketball for the most part is a pretty simple game. Once you learn everything, I think that the main adjustment for players going overseas is the mental aspect of it, just different language, being away from home and missing family and things of that nature. Um, my first year, my first year in Israel was really good because that country, they spoke most of everybody spoke English there, so it wasn't really a hard transition. And Israel, it's not a really big country itself, but when I went to Turkey, that this definitely was an adjustment for me. I can remember the first time I went there. I mean, I'm thinking that pretty much the language is the same as English. So I go to a taxi and I'm like, I'm saying mall. I'm telling mall, like mall, and he's looking at me like I'm speaking Chinese or whatever. Like he don't know what I'm saying. So I'm like, really? So I'm like, okay, I gotta walk. So I ended up um walking to the mall that night. And then walking to the mall. It wasn't that far from my house, but it was just like those little things like that. But at the end of the day, and this it's an experience now. So now I can, but now with me living over there for all those years, now I can, if I needed to say or speak Turkish and say, look, I want to go to the mall, I can say, and I can tell them I want to go to the mall. So then that was one thing. And then the food too, because the food is totally different than the way we process it and do it here in America. So that takes some adjustment as well. So if you get past those two things, I think you'll be okay. But the most important thing is just really, the mental part of it, just being able to withstand. Because you're gonna have some times where you're lonely, you're gonna miss stuff, you're gonna miss
Yeah.
holidays. But that's just part of it. Either you, because you only have a small window to do it. So either you're gonna do it then, or you're not gonna do it at all. And that's how I kind of went about it.
How was that experience getting interest from teams internationally? Was that something that you saw a lot even before like the NBA draft, or like when did you start seeing some interest coming in?
I mean, I saw some interest before. I had a team, one particular team in Japan. They was on me really heavy before I actually even signed to Israel. Whatever, they were on me really heavy. They really liked me, but I ended up going to Israel or whatever. And like I said, I enjoyed Israel. It was a great place. And then, like I said, I moved on to Turkey. But I mean, it's just I definitely got buzz from different teams or whatever. And like I said, nowadays, you get a lot more exposure than I would have gotten back in the day. With international teams today, because they have all these different um like European exposure camps and all that stuff out in Las Vegas and different places. And then too, what hurt me is another thing that hurt me is as well. Me being hurt. I missed over a year of not playing that once I graduated from Alabama. So teams were, some teams was kind of, once I did get healthy, some teams were kind of skeptical because, they didn't know what to expect or whatever, but like I said, the team in Israel, Rishon, they took a chance on me or whatever, and that's when my career kind of took off.
Well, playing in Turkey and in the Middle East, how was the level of basketball there? Was it at a high level? Like, what would you rate it?
Um, I think it was well, when I first started off over there, it was I would give it, as like one of the top countries over there. I would give it probably like out of five. I would give it like a 2.5 out of five. But now I think now to when I retired, Turkey was probably like the top country as far as basketball. They were the top team, they were the top country as far as basketball. I mean, it was Spain, Russia, and then I think Turkey it fell right in there, whatever, as far as basketball when I first got there. But now, I mean, I think Turkey they overtook both of them. I mean, they had a lot of teams that was competing for for international titles or European titles, and so and the teams were actually spending money too or whatever to get players or whatever. And I tell people all the time, at the time when they had the crisis back here back in what '08, I think '08, '09, a lot of teams, a lot of countries had cut their budget and wasn't spending a lot. Turkey was continuing to spend, and they was continuing to improve because they hadn't won a Euro League title, and they was thirsty because they wanted their country to be known, known as be known in the basketball world.
You mentioned the money aspect of everything. Was getting paid ever something that was a worry or concern? Because I've heard stories, depending on what country you go to, some players got paid, some players didn't. It just kind of depends on what the organization was like. Was that ever a concern for you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I had some times when we didn't get paid for like 2 months, 3 months at a time, and we ended up but we ended up getting paid. But I think a lot of it has to do with the agents doing their homework on different teams. But then I think also that, excuse me, that the players as well, they have to talk to other guys that have played on the teams before them, because like I said, it's a small pool. Like it was like 16 teams over there. Every team will got 2, 3, 4 Americans on there. So we all pretty much know each other. So if something goes on with one club or whatever, it's pretty much the other team, everybody from the other team will know about it. So you have to do your homework too as a player, because if a situation where a team ain't paying the previous year, the chances are, and they still owing guys money from the year before that or 2 years before that, chances are you're not gonna get, it's gonna be hard for you to get yours unless they come into a lot of money where they got a sponsor and they giving them a lot of money to invest into their basketball club. If not,
Mm-hmm.
and so I did run into, to that issue or whatever like that. But, I was able to, we was able to get it resolved and get it taken care of. But you do run into that situation. I know guys, still to this day still have, having the same, problem, with certain clubs or certain countries where they don't pay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. International. I know things a little bit work differently. What have you heard about like the CBA, like the basketball played in Asia specifically? What have you heard about like their level compared to Europe?
I mean, I heard that they play a lot of games. I heard that they're more of a they kind of base their schedule. They play more of like an NBA style schedule. They play like 3 or 4 games a week or something like that. They don't practice a lot, but they do pay a lot of money. But then they're expected, they expect, I think it's only like 2 Americans, but they expect the Americans to do everything. So you'll have guys that scoring 60, 70 points or whatever like that. But that's what they want their Americans to do. They want their Americans to come over and score, come on and rebound. That's what they want their Americans to do. And so that's what they pay
Mm.
to do. They pay really well too.
Would you? I mean, when a player does not make it into NBA or doesn't get drafted, do you recommend them going overseas or try to get into like the NBA G League? What path do you suggest for those players?
I mean, the G League, I mean, the NBA, they've made some strides, changing the G League format, to kind of get the guys, get players more money. So, I mean, if that's an option, you look at that. But for me, myself personally, like I always tell guys, like, look, you got to understand it's a small window of opportunity to play basketball. And so, if, teams going to promise, if teams want to sign you, they're going to sign you. But again, if you wait 3, 4, 5 years, to try to get get an NBA contract or whatever, and and they're saying, oh, you're not. They just keep telling you, oh, you're close, you're close, you're close. I mean, the chances are, your window opportunities are closing. So my thing was, even if you play, even if you go overseas and play for a year or two, you still can go and saying, and try for the NBA if you want to. Like I had guys like that do that all the time. They still they come on and play during the year, and then summer league, they go and play summer league. When they play summer league in the summertime, and some guys get picked up and some guys don't. I mean, I have a teammate now that he played with me in Turkey, and he did the same thing. He played overseas for a while, and now he's in the NBA. He's been in the NBA about 3, 4 years now. So you have the opportunity, but like I said, I think that um, and a lot of guys too use the NBA. They use them being in the NBA, or the roster and different things in order for them to get more money as well. So that's another thing too that guys can use and put in their repertoire. But me myself personally, I suggest guys go overseas because you're gonna get a little bit more money. They're not probably not the first year, but like the second, third year, you probably may get a little bit more money than you would from the G League or whatever. But then after that, like I said, you can try to get money as much as you can try to get as much as you want then.
Justin, one more question because this is very interesting for me. Were you
Well,
seeing a whole lot of NBA scouts while you were over there?
Yeah, you do actually see something. They're actually sitting up in the stands, and especially I mean, of course, some of them they stick out. You'll know that because they wear the team shirts and stuff. So you'll know them. I mean, you do talk to some of them you don't talk to. So yeah, you do run into some of them.
of course, you played in a very strong era of college basketball. The basketball landscape has changed greatly, especially now with the one and done, and now players can opt out of going to college and jumping straight to the G League. Do you feel like that's going to hurt the game of basketball, college wise?
That's a great question.
Um, I don't. I mean, you know what? I actually do think it will because at the end of the day, like you said, no, the main thing that a lot of guys are looking at, like, excuse me, um, money. I mean, you can go, I mean, if you leave out of high school, you can go and start working anywhere else you want to work, and then their whole thing is why do I have to go to college, and why can't I get paid, in college? And I understand that or whatever. I understand that too, and I think it will eventually hurt him because you have a lot of the top guys. I mean, some of the guys they went to the G League. Some of the guys they're going overseas. They're going to Australia. They're going to different places. They going to different places to play because at the end of the day, like they don't want to be they don't want to be tied down to a program or institution. They want to be they're professionals. So that's what they're going to do. Their main goal is to go and make money. So they taking that as not being tied down to an institution. They're going working on their game, being able to go overseas and or different places and work on their game more versus in college you have the same thing, but still you still on you in a different type of format.
Yeah, which is something that I mean, because I follow a whole lot of other sports internationally in Europe, like soccer. Kids start being pro at
Yep.
16 or 17, and I can see that in basketball because I know with American football you can't go pro right away because a lot of these kids are skinny and they're like
Yeah.
very brittle. But in basketball,
Mhm.
I could see that happening where these players could leave high school and go straight to pro. I mean, I know Kobe did it, but I
Mhm.
could definitely see that more happening. Would you agree?
But see, yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, with the whole thing with Europe, I mean, you have, they bring guys like, for example, you might bring a guy like some teams will bring a guy from let's say like Luka Doncic. They brought him, Real Madrid brought him from Croatia. They brought him over at a young age, 11, 12 years. So he's been playing in their junior teams or whatever, like for the last 5, 6 years or whatever. And he continued to produce and continue to get better. And then they moved him up to the senior team. And so you don't like a lot of that right there. We don't get that. Some of the players we don't get that experience to be able to be able to play with experienced guys like that. We don't get that. It's like okay, you'll have older guys, but I'm talking about like from a professional
are able to come in and being able to work with players and older guys that's on a professional club, so they get a chance to learn the ins and out. Versus, for us, it's totally different. Like so we're not, we can't go, and some of the guys, they get paid and stuff, so we're not allowed to do that. So they're making money at like 12 years old, 13 years old, some of them, because they're able with their own team. Yeah, so they're getting a lot of experience that way as well.
But I want to kind of get back to when you were playing internationally. Of course, like I said earlier, you became a star and had an amazing career that spanned from 2004 to 2018. Why do you think that your place was overseas and not with the NBA? What made you so successful
there? I think, I found I don't know. I think that one thing, I didn't mind being there. I just felt like it was just something that, it was meant for me to be there. I didn't, I was comfortable. I was good. I was, I was taken care of. I didn't have any complaints. I didn't have any problems. I didn't, I didn't bounce from country to country. Not saying they bounce from country to country is a bad thing, but I was able to pretty much, I was stayed in the same country my whole entire career. So I think that there was something too that kind of, helped me out. I was there, and I was in Turkey, 12 out of my 13 years of being a professional. So, so it wasn't, I didn't have a lot of stress. I did have some, but it wasn't a lot of stress or whatever. I just felt like that, I just felt like I was having a lot of success over there. And I knew, like, once I got to a certain point over there, I knew that if I took a chance and went back to the NBA, I would have been starting back over from scratch or whatever. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that or whatever. I didn't feel like that I wanted to do that. I didn't feel like that was the right thing to do, and so I didn't do it.
Yeah, Turkey definitely brings a lot of talent, like Enes Kanter, Turkoglu. Do you think internationally, with the game of basketball, do you think internationally, like, they've caught up with USA, or do you think in a couple of years we'll see more countries winning, like the Olympics or FIBA?
I don't think so. I think, don't get me wrong, I think they do have some talented players, but I don't think that they've caught. I think that their players, they have players that are improving, and I think a lot of the guys they're targeting the USA because they want to be the USA because we've been dominant for so many years. But overall, I don't think that they'll improve. I don't think countries are proving enough to where they'll win FIBA or win the Olympics. I don't think they'll be able to win like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I don't think that. I think they'll win 1 or 2 years, but I don't think they'll be so dominant as to where that the USA won't have any chance whatsoever.
I do want to talk about something that happened that was pretty special to you. Back in 2019, you were selected to the SEC Legends team. Mm-hmm. Man, that's pretty awesome, man. You joined a list of several greats in the SEC. Not just the SEC. Alabama alone, players like Robert Ory, Derek McKee, James Hollywood Robinson. What did it mean to be elected to this team and then be associated with those great names?
First of all, I was shocked even when they even told me. I was like, because I had been people had been kind of hitting at me for some reason, and I had never even heard of let's see, like I had never I heard of it, but I didn't even think about it. It didn't register in my brain. Like that was actually what they was trying to get me, get me to be. And so I had several people, come to me during the year, like, "Hey, you going to Nashville?" I'm like, "I'm going to Nashville for what?" And then they would kind of, be quiet. They would go, like, they'll change the subject. So I was like, okay. And then one day I got a call. I got a call like, "No, Coach Avery, he wants you to come in to practice. He wants you to come and watch the guys." I'm like, okay, this kind of weird. Well, I'm like, I've been around. I watched the team practice, but I'm like, okay, what's so special about today? I didn't know. And so, I stayed there, stayed around watching practice, and Aaron Jordan, the SID called, "Hey, you need anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." He said, "Just come on in and watch practice. We'll talk to you later." So I'm sitting up there. I forgot who I was sitting with. I was sitting up there at the top watching practice. And then they called me now. Okay, they called me now. I'm like, what's going on? I'm thinking about something. Okay, like, what's going on? And then that's when the camera crew came in and they told me like, yeah, you've been selected, the SEC, 2019 Legend for Alabama. And, it was a great honor. Like I said, I'd never expected that. A little small town kid, from Uniontown, Alabama. I just, like I said, my whole thing is for me as a person, as a player, like if I'm gonna do something, I try to do my best. I try to play hard, and for me being honored in that way, I'm appreciative of it. It's a blessing. I thank God for it. It was just a great time for me in Nashville. My family came up, so we had a really good time. But like I said, it was a great honor to be, named that, and I'm really appreciative of it.
While playing college and especially in the SEC, who do you think was the best player you've played against while in college?
I mean, we had a lot of good players, especially in the SEC. One of the good, I think David West. I mean, he played in the NBA for a long time. Playing against him and Xavier, he came to Tuscaloosa. He was a really good player. SEC wise, Mario Austin, of course, he was really good. Udonis Haslam was another one of the another one.
Yeah.
It was a lot of guys. It was a lot of guys. Coming in. It was somebody else, but I can't think of them. But we had a lot of guys during that time. That era was really, really talented.
Past your career, and you're now coaching. Can you tell us a little bit about your camp that you have? I'd like to know a little bit more about that, because now you're a player, but you were a player, but now you're in a different role. You're an instructor. So how did you get started with that camp, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's my nonprofit. I started it back in 2000. Was it like 12, 13? So to like 2008 or 9, I think it was. It was something that I felt that was needed back in my hometown, back in my community. Our area where I'm from is a rural area, so you don't have a lot of things of that, camps or different things of that nature going on. So I felt like me being able to come back and establish and being able to do a camp like that every summer, every summer for the kids was a great thing. We recruit, well, not recruit, but we get kids from all over, from Greene County, Hale County, Dallas County, all the surrounding areas, which is called the Black Bear, all the surrounding counties that's surrounding my hometown, and they come in and we average every year, except for this year because of the coronavirus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're not doing it this year, but we average between about 130 to 160 kids. And so, I mean, it's a great opportunity. It's a free camp. We have some great sponsors that come in and that allow us to go in and put on the camp for the kids. And like I said, the kids they enjoy, and some of the kids also too. Once they come to the camp every year, once they graduate high school, you have a lot of them. They'll come back and work the camp. So it's just a great experience for for the community and the kids in general. So like I say, this is my nonprofit, and it's a great opportunity, a great thing.
Of course, the South is known for football, but how do you see basketball like right now and like the Southeast? Do you think it's growing since when you first started?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the talent is a lot. I think the talent in this here is a lot more spread out. I think when I came through, the talent was all kind of bunched up in like certain areas. But I think it's spread out a lot more now. People moving in different places and stuff. And I think the talent is spread it out.
What are some of the takeaways from your college and pro career that you want to teach the up and coming athletes, not just in your camps, but any who may come to you for advice, or I guess maybe even be mentored?
Well, one of the things I always tell people, I tell them definitely you got to keep God first. That's one of the things. But I also tell them that, once if you playing professionally, or if you're going overseas, or if you play professionally, it don't matter if you're going overseas, if you're playing here in the States, or if you're working here in the States, whatever, it's an opportunity, and one opportunity can lead to the next. So with the opportunity that you have, you always got to take advantage of it. You got to do the best you can, because you never know when the next opportunity is around the corner. And so doing your best in one job or one area can lead you to the next one, lead you to something bigger and better. So always do your best, always be respectful, always be mindful of what you're doing and when you're doing it, how you're doing it.
This story is very encouraging because I talked to a lot of former high school basketball players that didn't make the college or didn't make like the NBA, but I was telling guys, go overseas. There's opportunities there. You got Turkey, you got China, you got all over Europe. I mean, they want American players. There's a huge demand for that. And yeah, it's something that's very encouraging that what you did, which you never gave up. You continue playing basketball. Can you tell us your future plans? What do you want to do in like the next 5 years? I know like it's a lot, but what do you want to do for like the upcoming years?
Oh, right now, I got a 9-year-old son, I got a 9-year-old daughter, and then I have a 18-year-old daughter as well. So right now I've been really focusing on them. They have stuff going on. My oldest daughter, she's in school here in Alabama, so just been helping her with different her work and just spending time with her because I missed a lot of time with her because I was overseas. So I spent a lot of time with her, and then my other youngest two. They have a bunch of activities from karate to basketball to soccer and all those things. So me just really just kind of soaking it in, just, really just enjoying the things that they're doing. I've been, coaching my son, his basketball team this past year where we won the Jewel City League here in Tuscaloosa. So
how's he looking?
8-9-year-old. He's gonna be tall. He's gonna be tall. I got a lot of people telling me he's gonna be taller than me, so we'll see. But he's gonna be tall. Well, he likes basketball. He likes to run too, so I'm pretty excited.
Justin, we're winding down, so if you got one more or two more questions, it's all yours.
Well, I definitely want to know, if you could go up against anybody in today's game, who would you like to go one-on-one with?
That's a tough question. Let me tell you. Let me see.
I wanted back in the day to see you and Shaq go head to head, man, because you had similar styles. Y'all both are so dang relentless.
Or David Robinson.
And just the battle for the rebound just probably would have shattered, the glass just by standing by it, just because of all the sheer awesomeness around you. But I wish I could have seen that. But if you were in today's game, who would you like to go up against?
Today's game, who would I want to go up against?
Or are they physical enough?
I mean, you know what? You know who I like and whatever like that, and I watched him a lot and whatever, and I think that it'll been a good person to go up against. They're not playing anymore; they retired. But Tim Duncan, I like Tim Duncan. I like the way he played the game. He was humble, but he played game. They call him he was a fundamentally sound, like across the board, and so he was one of the guys that I think that I would love to play against, and what I'm saying, being able to learn from him too, because I know he had a wealth of knowledge, or has a wealth of knowledge. Let's say
something to definitely look at. Of course, Duncan and all those greats are happening. Ready for some rapid fire?
Yep.
Kobe or LeBron?
I'm a LeBron fan, man. I'm a LeBron fan. Sorry.
Were you able to watch The Last Dance?
I did.
What was your favorite part?
I didn't know Jordan was. I knew he was ruthless, but I didn't know Jordan was a savage. Jordan was. He was ruthless. I mean, he was ruthless. But I liked it though. That gave him a fiery edge though. I like that. I just like him overall, just how he got on his teammates. That was some of my favorite part, like how he really, talked to his teammates and got on to him and held them accountable.
I gotta agree with that there. We saw a whole other side of Jordan that just wasn't shown back in his day. This just ruthless field general, and wasn't cookie cutter like he was portrayed outside the court.
No,
I mean, he was, like you said, he was a savage. There's no other way to describe it. And I love seeing that side of him. And that's just something that was just so key back in his day to be successful.
Yeah, that's something that I was really I was not surprised. I heard his stories about that, but definitely, I mean, I don't hate Michael. I mean, he's still the greatest, and hey, he had to push his players, and especially like that final push, where like a lot of those players were kind of get a little bit older and get a little bit tired. But anyways, we're gonna head into poll questions. Justin, any final words or anything before we head into poll questions?
Yeah. First of all, I try to incorporate some kind of positive message or our spiritual message with all of our shows. It's something I'm really trying to focus on because I feel like there's somebody in our audience that needs to, receive that. And one of the things I was trying to figure out, what Bible verse really described everything you went through, Erwin. And I did find one that says, "But take courage, do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded." That's 2 Chronicles 15:7. And that's the thing. No matter what you were dealt, you just kept working hard. You just kept grinding. You just took whatever was handed to you and you ran with it. You never stopped grinding. And that's just such a great testimony because you never gave up, and we're in a world now that, if things don't work out, people will take their toys and go home or they give up. But instead, you're a guy that just keeps pushing, and it's someone we definitely need to look towards as far as how to be successful. So that's what I take away from your career. And even when you're in college, man, I saw it there because the word relentless continues to come up. Every moment, whether you were scoring points or you were getting a rebound or you were just doing the small things, that was definitely present. So I just I want to thank you for that, and that's something that all athletes need to really watch and just aspire to be like.
I really appreciate that. And like you said, that's one of the things that for me, like I said, as a player, as a person, I take pride in it. Sometimes, a lot of the hands that we're dealt in life, is something that, we can't control. But we can control, the things that we do, the actions that we take. And so that's one of the things that I always try to be positive no matter what. I mean, just thinking like it'll get better. God's on my side. And so that's one of the things that I always tell myself because, we're all human. We do have our day, where sometimes when we do get down on ourselves, but we're human. We're allowed to have a down moment, but don't lay down and wallow in that moment for 2 weeks, a month, or a year. You take one day, okay, yeah, but then next thing you pick the next day, pick yourself up and you keep going. And so that's what I try to pride myself on, to just continue to move on and continue to strive and continue to push, no matter what circumstance or what obstacles they're placed in front of me.
Definitely agree with Justin. Relentless, never give up, pushing it. And wow, this podcast is really enthusiastic. To be honest, it's giving me a lot of enthusiasm and motivation, to never give up. Anyways, poll question of the show or of the day: what goes well with pink, cotton candy, lemonade, flamingos, or flowers? We'll go with Erwin.
Where do you find these questions?
Yeah, I really don't.
That's why they call it random poll questions.
You say what goes with pink?
Pink, yeah. Cotton candy,
Pink.
lemonade, flamingos, or flowers.
I don't know. A Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't know.
There you go. Some pink lemonade with Chick-fil-A.
Justin Riley?
I guess lemonade, man, because guys don't really focus on the color pink. So if I had to choose some pink of some kind, I guess it would be lemonade. And like you said, with the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Well, cotton candy's winning by 1 percentage point, lemonade second, and flamingos third, flowers last, Justin. Interesting.
Man, I don't know what we're going to do about society now.
And sports poll question: should the Ravens acquire Josh Gordon or AB, Antonio Brown? We'll go with Erwin.
I think they should get it. I think they should get AB.
Justin Riley?
AB.
Man, I'm a Ravens guy, and to be honest with you, we really have something that's really special in the works right now. And AB, I'm going to give him his props. He's arguably one of the best at his position in the game right now, but he has too much drama and too much baggage right now. And I just feel like if he was to bring that kind of, toxicity into the organization, it could really disrupt things. Now, if Coach Harbaugh can rein him in and get him on the straight and narrow, then it could work. But I just really don't feel it's a good decision. I know that Deion Sanders has been spending time mentoring him, so that's definitely a plus. But right now, gut reaction, I don't feel like bringing him in is the best answer, just given the state of things.
So your pick is Josh Gordon.
I don't want either, to be honest with you.
But you have to choose one.
You gotta choose one.
Gotta choose one.
They're both good, let's be honest.
Well, okay. I'd have to pick AB. Let me tell you why. At least AB will go out there and work. You don't know when Josh Gordon is going to work or when he's going to decide to quit again. So you got that to be concerned about. So if I was forced to make the choice between the two, I'd say AB.
Antonio Brown is winning 70% to Josh Gordon 30. So people are agreeing with you. You can go on the Sportscast Twitter at the Sportscast1 to check out the Twitter polls. You do have a few hours left. Erwin, what is the best way for people to reach you online?
I mean, I'm on social media some, but I'm not on there a lot. Like I check my accounts and I try not, because I know it'll consume me a lot if I am on social media. But I do have Facebook and I do have Twitter, Erwin Dudley. This is my name, Erwin Dudley. That's it.
Erwin, would you ever consider consider coaching in the future?
I would possibly, but what I'm saying, it's nothing set in stone. I don't know. I mean, like right now, I'm enjoying. It's a lot of stress. Coaching my son. I mean, imagine because you're out there screaming at him, be like, yeah, trying to get the kids, to get in position and stuff like that. It's fun though, but you get. I didn't know you can get fired up for an 8-year-old game. You get really fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've heard a lot of stories about that. Justin Riley, what's the best way to reach you to talk to you about the SEC basketball?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Justin Riley7. I'm also on Instagram at Justin Riley_7. I also will help contribute to the Sportscast on both Twitter and Instagram. That's at the Sportscast1. I also want to take the time to remind everybody of next week's guest. Next Tuesday night, we will be joined by former Alabama fullback Terrence Lynch. He was on the 1992 National Championship team, arguably one of the best fullbacks to ever play in the SEC. So tune in for that.
Bama All-Star, Terrence Lynch, looking forward to that. Back to football. Basketball, I don't know what it is, but got me excited tonight. I hope Justin could book some more basketball players, or maybe Erwin could help us out to book some more Alabama basketball players.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Hey, Erwin, I wouldn't mind having like a reunion show, man, of that 2002 team, 2001, 2002 squad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll be dope right there.
I mean, that was a special squad, man. I like to bring everybody in and just kind of talk about those days because, that was a great time.
And we could, and we could do a little documentary, sell it to ESPN afterwards. And
there you go.
And you can follow us at thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, or on Twitter at thesportscast1. As you heard from Justin, we'll be having more interviews these next couple of weeks. Of course, sports, it's a little bit down right now, but we're keeping you guys pretty upbeat and excited. And, of course, there's more to come. Really excited about this week. We got the Premier League and, of course, NASCAR. So only soccer and races happening, but basketball starts until next month. And then hopefully football in the fall. Anyways, any closing words, guys?
Man, I'm just thankful that Justin reached out to me and I'm able to talk to you guys. I'm thankful, for just having the opportunity, and you guys continue doing what you're doing. I enjoyed it. And, if you ever want me to come back on again at some point in time, just let me know. And like I said, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a great time too. And Erwin, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate your availability. And like I said before, when we first were talking, you've always been one of my favorite players from Alabama. So that was a pretty cool honor to have you join. Definitely love the message that you provided us with. And like I said, with each of our podcasts, I feel like there's someone that God places in our audience who needs to hear specific messages at that time. And I feel like the story that you provided us with and several messages is really going to touch the lives of the people who listen, and it's going to make a big difference. So really excited about doing that. Definitely want to get you back on. And if we can get in touch with the other guys, like I said, love to have a reunion cast. maybe even next month or August. So if we can put that together, man, let's do it. And I definitely want to take you up on that national championship burger challenge at Ramajamas.
Oh yeah, we need to do it. Definitely.
Well, we hopefully in August we might be up there, so we'll see if we could bump into Erwin. Anyways, Erwin Dudley, Justin Riley. One last words. Roll
Tide.
Tide.